Hi there, Dan Sanchez, managing broker in Seattle. So this will be fun. So we are going to talk about advanced strategies. First, we're going to talk about the inspection contingency. So the thing about contingencies is sellers don't like them. Okay, these are reasons why the buyer might be able to back out of the transaction. Now, in a normal market, seller just has to deal with it. Buyers want to know that they don't have to buy the property if they don't like the inspection or if the financing fails. Now, in a hot market, though, you will frequently find the most competitive offers have waived financing to some degree, and most likely have waived the inspection contingency. Okay, so how would you do that? How would you waive the inspection contingency? Well, really, you need to pre-inspect the property. You really don't want to waive the finance contingency unless you pre-inspect the property. And by waiving it means there's no contingency anymore. You agree to not have an inspection contingency. So basically what you do is you inspect the property ahead of time. You write an offer where you waive the inspection. And if you find a whole bunch of things wrong with the property, you just have to factor that into your price that you offer in the bid war. With respect to, and now this could get very expensive. So, every time you write an offer, if you do a pre-inspection, that could cost between $300 and $500 something dollars. Plus, you want to do a sewer scope, that's going to be, $200 or $300. So it could definitely cost you as much as $800 for every single offer you write. This is why a good real estate agent is very important, by the way, because if you've got somebody who's writing sloppy offers or they don't know some of these advanced strategies and you're spending $800 every time you write an offer, that's going to get really not fun very quickly. Okay. So, let's talk about waiving finance contingency. Now, there's two parts to the finance contingency, okay? The appraisal, and then I guess the financing itself. What some people might do is just waive the whole thing. That means you lose your earnest money if your financing fails. It's almost the same as making a cash offer. You would lose your earnest money if your financing fails, if the property doesn't appraise, and you're not able to make up the difference, or if you lose your job or something, you are not able to get your earnest money back. Okay. So this, as you can tell, is something that people have to think about very carefully. And there are different ways to waive parts of the finance contingency. As an example, you might say, I will buy the property even if the appraisal is low. So let's say it's a $600,000 property, it appraises at $550,000. Well, your choice is either to lose your earnest money or to pay an extra $50,000 in cash for the property. Remember, the lender is only going to lend you a percentage based on the appraised value. If you want to buy the property for more than it appraised for, you have to pay the difference in cash. Now, this can get very complicated, okay? Especially if you have if you're working with a low type of a down payment. Let's say it's a $600,000 property. You have, say, $100,000 to work with, and you're going to put $60,000 down, okay? And it appraises for $550,000. Well, now you're putting $110,000 down. So, or you lose your earnest money, which could easily be $10,000 or $15,000 in that case or more. So that's something to think about. Something else that could happen, and I've seen this happen actually. It wasn't my client, I was the listing agent. They had a client, they intended to put 20% down on the property, and they waived the appraisal contingency. The property did not appraise, okay? So let's just say they intended to buy a $500,000 property with $100,000 down. Property appraises at $450,000, okay? And they only had $100,000 to work with. All of a sudden, they have to take $50,000 of that $100,000 and add it to the appraisal to equal the agreed upon price. Now they only have $50,000 to put down. So now they're barely putting more than 10% down. Now they have private mortgage insurance they have to pay for because they're putting less than 20% down all of a sudden. I actually saw this happen, and it was very, very sad for the buyers. In fact, they were not going to qualify for the loan anymore because of the private mortgage insurance and had to borrow money from a relative. I hope that makes sense. Definitely, please ask me any questions. If there's any way I can clarify that for you, please let me know. So it's a little dangerous to start waiving the appraisal contingency. What some people do is they waive part of it. They might say, well, I'll buy the property as long as it doesn't appraise for more than $20,000 lower, as an example, or 30 or whatever they decide on. And then at least their exposure is limited. So I'll probably talk more about this subject when I get into the topic of writing competitive offers. So again, I hope that made sense, and let me know if it didn't, and I will try to clarify it. Thank you.